Welcome back to the Davis Ranch. Today I'm going to change out a couple switches in my bedroom and put in new Wi-Fi switches. So one will be a fan dimmer switch, the other will be a regular on-off switch. These are the switches I ended up getting. I was looking on Home Depot's website and the Wi-Fi switches on there are very expensive. I got both of these 4-packs on Amazon for about the cost of 2 switches on Home Depot. Brand is Gosund, and they have very good reviews, so I figured I'd give them a shot. These ones are just regular on-off Wi-Fi switches, and these ones are dimmer switches, but it said in the description that they also work with fans, so I'm going to give that a shot today. This is the switch I'm going to change out first. I already took out the screws, but I thought I'd show you what I had originally. It's just an on-off switch here on the right and the dimmer switch for the fan on the left. So first step in changing out switches obviously is to turn off your power, and then you can take off your screws and remove your faceplate. I'll go ahead and take these out and then we'll see what we got for wires. Here's what we got for wiring. On these older style switches, it's usually very simple. It doesn't matter which one goes where. As long as you have your hot power going to one and your wire going to the light on the other one, it'll work. It's the same concept on this one. I have hot on one wire and power to the fan on another one. So I'm gonna have to get my multimeter. In the newer switches, they have a hot designated wire and a wire to the light as another designated wire. So you need to know which one is hot. Obviously, if you don't have a good understanding of electrical systems in houses, do hire a professional for this. If you can, handle using a multimeter to figure out the hot wire, then this is a very easy task. So I got my multimeter and I was pulling out these wires and looking at the wiring closer. It's pretty obvious to me which one is the hot wire. So what they did is they brought the hot into this blue wire nut here, and then they branched out power to this switch here. You can see on this wire right there. And then I got another one that goes out of that blue wire nut to the dimmer switch here. So we have the same power source for both switches, and the wire going out to the fan is this one, and the wire going out to the light is this red one. So obviously, if you're not comfortable with understanding the circuits, you should get a multimeter. It is a little risky because what you're gonna have to do, if you don't have the type that can just go over the wire, is you're gonna have to take off one of these wire nuts and turn on the circuit and test that to make sure that that is actually your hot wire. When you do that, say for this switch, this one here will be hot and this one will be not. I guess in that case, on this older style, we can test that just touching the screw over here. I'll go ahead and turn on the circuit and I'll show you that. It'll show that in the off position, this one will not have power and this one will have constant power. And then when you turn this on, this one will have power. We have this one. All right, so we have a hot circuit. For this step, I'm gonna need a few extra hands, so I have my helpers here. Okay, so again, if you're not comfortable around live wires, do seek professional help with this installation. Okay. In order to test the circuit, you need one of your probes on the ground, and as you can see, this plate here is grounded. So we have the black probe, the negative probe on the ground, and I have my helper here holding it. So Okay, so our circuit's hot. We have identified that we think that the hot wire is coming out of the blue wire nut, which goes right here. We have our ground probe on the metal plate, which is grounded. Okay, so we probe the bottom screw there, and we are getting 121 volts, which is what we'd expect. Okay, so on this top one, we should be getting 0 because the switch is off. And we're getting 0. So if we turn the switch on, we should now get 122 volts, 121 volts, just like we were getting. So we have now positively identified that this blue wire nut contains our hot wires. Okay, we got our old switches out, and I went ahead and labeled the wire going to the fan and the wire going to the light. Should be pretty simple on this one, but sometimes it gets confusing with all the wires in there. Even though we've identified the circuit that we're using, always be cautious in outlet boxes because sometimes there's still live circuits that pass through. Okay, so let's go ahead and unbox the Gosund dimmer light switches. Go. Pretty nice. All right, so it looks like it comes with new wire nuts and the screws. It's nicely packaged. Looks like we have 4 wires coming off the back. Should be a ground, neutral, hot, and the wire going out to your light or to your fan in my case. There's a view after I took off that sticker, and that is the case. We have ground, neutral, hot, and out to your light or fan. It does also come switch plate if you're going to use it in a single gang circuit box, but in my case I have a double gang, so I'll be using another switch plate. So we'll see how well it fits with the standard switch plate you can get from Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't like really that it has the label or their brand on the switch plate. I think that's kind of tacky. I wish they didn't do that. Okay, here's the light switches. Go ahead and unbox those so you can get it wired up as well. Okay, good, that's a sticker. Same packaging it looks like. Same exact wiring configuration, which is nice and easy. Same things included. You got your wire nuts, screws, and switch plates down there. Okay, the bundle of common or neutral wires was in the back, so I went ahead and got those installed. Next, I'm going to do the grounds, and then we'll work on the power and out wires. Okay, got everything wired up. Let's see if I can show you here. So the blue wire nut, which we identified as our power source, goes through to this wire nut, which has both of our hot wires coming out, going to the switches. Okay, the ground wires are both wired up over here to our ground. You can see those tied in back there. Okay, our hot out on the switch for the light is going to be going here, which we've identified as our light. Okay, the hot out coming from the dimmer switch is going to the fan, which we've identified there. All right, now the real task here is going to get all of this and these to fit inside of this outlet box. So I'm gonna go ahead and mess with that and we'll see what we can do. So one tip I have is use your fingers to try to push all these bigger bundles as far back as you can before you try to start pushing in these. That'll give you the most room towards the front. And again, use caution in case there are other live circuits running through your outlet box. Don't use any metal tools to do this, because you can nick the wires, and when you turn your circuit back on, they can arc and cause problems. So, you know, use your fingers, probably wear gloves, as I'm not doing, and push those back as tight as you can get them. That'll give you the best chance to get these in. See, now they fit there. All right, I'm gonna get those screwed in, and then we will work on getting them programmed. Okay, so I got them installed, and I got the wall plate installed. No issues really there. The only thing that's a little weird about these switches, I'm not sure if I like it too much, is that the button is only on the bottom. The pushing the top doesn't do anything. So on my normal switches, you turn them on by pushing the top, and I'm wondering if that's going to be an issue, you know, with having half of my other, or most of my other outlets, you know, being a top switch, if I'm going to be trying to push this button right here and not do anything. To turn the light on by pushing the bottom is counterintuitive to me, so that might take some adjusting. Okay, I got my circuit powered back on, and the lights on here are going crazy, and the fan is on. So these should work, and they do, without programming them, but it looks like they're gonna flash like crazy until you do. So yeah, that turned off the fan. Not really. That's pretty cool. So it looks like you just drag your finger at the level you want, and it does work with my fan. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get these programmed. Okay, so I got the fan set up to work wirelessly. The rapid blinking when I first turned on the switches, or the circuit, sorry, was to indicate that it was ready for a connection. If both of them are flashing, you need to turn off the one and get it so just one is flashing, so that they both don't try to pair at the same time. So now that this one's done, I'm going to reset this one to get it into connection mode. Okay, so you just long press it to reset it, and now it's flashing and we'll be ready for pairing. Okay guys, so I got them both paired. They both function pretty well. So that will turn on the light, and this will turn on the fan and turn it off. I can control it from my phone. Both paired the first time I tried, which is good. I also have some of the light bulbs from Gosund, and those both paired pretty well too. For informational purposes, I do have the Orbi mesh Wi-Fi system. These claim to only work on 2.4, and the Orbis will broadcast both. I've had issues connecting Wi-Fi devices that only use 2.4 before, because it sees the 5 gigahertz and won't connect to. So, but these didn't have any issues. Both of them connected just fine. I did want to note that I didn't include, you know, instructions on how to pair them on your phone or on whatever Wi-Fi controller you have, just because they are able to be used on Alexa or Google. I now have 3 different products from Gosund, and each of the instructions had told me to download different apps. One was the Gosund app, one was the Smart app, and one was the Go Smart app or something. So I just left that out because you can use almost any product that you want. Hopefully this will help you if you need a hand installing some Wi-Fi switches, or any switches. The same techniques are used for standard switches as well. So if you like this video, hit like, subscribe. Thanks for watching Davis Ranch.